What's going on, y'all? It's Jason Reviews here again. This being a recap video, the first of a few I got from this past weekend of Battle Rap. A lot of different events to cover. This is for Resolution 2, URL. Have to preface this just real quick by saying some of the battles that were originally planned for the card were either were canceled and then rescheduled for other cards. Clips versus Luke Castro. Charlie Clips could not make it due to personal issues, so all prayers, and good hopes with Clips. That was postponed to the March 27th card that URL is cooking up. We'll talk about that a little later in the video. And then Kid Slade versus Real Name Brandon, which was announced late to begin with, has just been pushed to this upcoming weekend on the Initiation card URL's hosting. For some of the newer talent, I got opinions on that card, and I'll be recapping a lot of those battles. So yes, those two battles postponed. So that leaves us with 3 battles here on this card. TTop versus Charon, Verb versus Easy, and then DNA versus Hollow. This should be a pretty quick one, but let's just go over these 3 battles real quick. First battle of the night, TTop versus Charon. Decent. I'd say debatable. Consensus might recognize this as a clear win for Charon, but I had it as a debatable battle. I still had Charon 2-1. I believe the second is clear for Charon. That's the round we'll go over first. He had the stick out bar of the battle. He had gotten to a rhyme pocket, and he ends it off with, "My girl gets PhDs, your girl is given head in HD. The brain's different." So that was one of the possibly the only true haymaker of the battle. That was the moment for me from the battle. And then on top of that, Charon rebutted every single round, particularly in the first. He rebutted everything that T-Top had to say, pretty much. Even if all of it wasn't landing as a haymakers, there is some merit. They weren't all bad lines. So you got to judge each one for what it was. But I give him points, at least some points for the rebuttals. But like I said, the second, pretty clear. The first round, T-Top had a makeup scheme. He had another scheme that landed pretty crazy. I just don't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, even though it was an OBC, we've heard a lot of makeup schemes before, mascara and eyeliner, he still, there's a twist on it. I give it the credit, and he performed it well. So the first is debatable. Charon, like I said, rebuttals a lot of what T-Top has to say in the first. So it's a little hit or miss there from the rest of the round. We all know how Charon can be with the punchlines. There's some cringiness to it, but he'll land a few here and there, and then the freestyle ability is just incredible. So regarding the first round, I can understand if you have it going either way. I'm not mad at T-Top 1-0. I personally edged Charon. I didn't think either of them gave me too much to go with, but Charon's rounds also were, it seems he rapped a lot longer than T-Top, so it gets a little bit more material out. They did time him in the first, but in a round that's I look at maybe some of the peaks of Charon's round with the rebuttals, and I'll go with Charon 1-0 edge, but like I said, first round can go either way. Second, Charon clear, as we spoke on. And then the third, I also think is debatable. I think a lot of people are going to look at this as a clear round for Charon. I think a lot of that can play into the fact that Charon rapped double. I think the most time he rapped over top throughout the whole battle when you look at round comparison. Neither of them really stuck out. Like I said, it's an okay battle, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 battle. But me personally, when I go back and look at it, I just really thought there was some real corniness, like real airball misses, bad bars from Charon in the third, as opposed to T-Top. Some steady jabs. Didn't take too many notes for these, so sadly I can't give as many quotables as I'd like to for this particular battle. But I did edge T-Top the third live. I may give this battle a rewatch, and then maybe I'll be able to come back and, just have more knowledge to give on this one. But particularly, I edged Charon 2-1. I think a lot of people might have Charon with different rounds, possibly Charon Gentlemen's. First and third debatable to me, though. Second clear for Charon. I give Charon the first. I give T-Top the third. So Charon, 2-1 for the first battle. Okay opener. And on to the next battle. And then to the next battle, Verb versus Easy. I'd say battle of the night. A battle that I did have clear going in, and I believe that my prediction, came true in this situation. But good showing for Verb. To start out, we're going to start with the first round. Debatable round. Easy had stumbles. No definitive haymakers you usually don't see from an Easy round. Verb came in, and while I don't have really a lot to physically quote from either, one, I thought Easy's material was pretty light, and then two, the way Verb raps with the multis, it needs a rewatch to really write down full schemes. There's no just a punchline or something that I can pull out to describe what Verb is doing. But the difference in the first, I believe, to me, is Verb's energy was just just way better. When Easy's stumbling, but blinking a lot, kind of looks like he's losing a little bit of confidence, or he's just a little off. You got Verb, who, even though the content is still really isn't that crazy, the delivery, the grit, the performance, there was, it felt like he cared. So I edged Verb the first round. Originally, I had it Easy for edging the first, but thinking back on it a little bit, I do understand why people give it to Verb, and I'm going to side with that, but it's a debatable first. The second, Easy with the uphill writing is crazy. He just slowly starts hitting more and more in the second and building up. And when he's really catching fire at the end of the second, he ends it very similar to his first round versus Shine, how he was building up. And then he ends it with, I believe in zombies. A lot of people are here, but they're still dead to me. That was fucking crazy. One of my favorite lines of the battle. Just, it's just a real line. There's the little double in there, but that's just fantastic shit. It was an amazing way to close this second, and it was a good second from Easy. Nothing too crazy, but it was good. It was formidable. Verb starts out with the diss. It's ludicrous. It was a whole little scheme talking about how surfing them, keep dissing Verb. So that was cool, and then follows that up with, every time I hit a new mark, I achieve something. Hit a new mark, you achieve something, referring to Easy as a mark. That was cool too. Sadly though, as the round goes on, as the battle goes on, you see Verb's energy is going down a little bit. And then it really reveals that the material just really isn't there in terms of bar to bar. A lot of multis, and I think this is where people get a little frustrated with Verb, is, the performance here was great, but I just think as the years have gone on, even in an era where it's the chain puncher is what's preferred, you don't have to be that. And there's plenty of guys that achieve that aren't that. But to kind of remove the angling for the most part, I mean, real direct angling with definitive endings in your writing, punches with definitive endings, schemes with definitive endings. I mean, it's one thing to have multis and let the crowd catch it, but every once in a while, as a battle rapper, there needs to be definitive places that some of the fans can catch up when you have a completely multi-heavy style. I just think as the years go on, it's really hurt Verb. And as the rounds go on, I think his third here, he cut like a minute short. We're basically not even talking about his third. But yeah, I think Verb tailed off, and I gave Easy the second clear. And then the third round, Verb started with, even though he rapped second, Verb started with the surf angle and had a Tony Stark made a heart line. That was cool, but Easy's third is just incredible. Pulp Fiction bar, the Alka-Seltzer bubbling through the tablet, Delta, Omicron, mixed it wrong and made a variant, Haymaker, that was fire. Software, let me update, that was crazy. My Guardian Angels don't duck. I mean, it just is Haymaker after Haymaker after Haymaker. Round of the night, absolutely incredible round from Easy in his third. So I got Easy taking the battle, 2-1 clear. Like I said, the first is debatable. I edge Verb. But yeah, Easy second and third clear, and on to the next battle. And then on to the main event of the night, DNA versus Hollow. Like I said, there's not too much to talk about with this card, especially when the main event is like this. We're not going round for round for this one. I have DNA 3-0. The second is somewhat close. We'll just talk about that for Hollow. He had the line, I'll knock DNA out of DNA and watch life imitate art. That was dope. He had a little casino gambling scheme that he had in there, with dice. We've heard that. We just heard one recently with Clips versus Chess. So that was cool. And then he had a Beasley, Nunu, get rid of the kid, the usual, that whole situation flip. So Hollow's second is cool, but his performance is off this entire battle. Psych Guy lies all 3 rounds. His first is horribly light. It's borderline ass. It might be ass. Hollow's first might be ass, respectfully. And then his third, he's got some cool. It's not, completely. There's a little bit of jabs in there, but really nothing to be noted on. DNA didn't set the world on fire, but DNA was really good this battle. DNA's first, the almost lean, smooth criminal, that was dope. He had a style breakdown on Hollow for the multis and saying he's got a gimmicky style. A lot of things that I personally resonate. I see a little bit of that in Hollow style. He had some LeBron commercial bars that hit pretty crazy, and then he had a 911 jazz bar, something for Hollow about 911 and Jazz the operator. And, that did clear round for DNA in the first and a clear round for DNA in the third. He had a 50 Cent. Hollow said something about the Queen songs. He had this weird Queens angle in the third trying to get DNA to these third, say these Queen songs with him, rap along with him, and he comes out with a 50 Cent something. It was 150 song, and then he said, your life's on the line. The rebuttal hit crazy. He had a few haymakers. DNA rebuttaled, I believe, every round of this battle. He had an angle about Hollow's withdrawals. He had a Nipsey Hussle victory lap line, and then somewhere in there he had something about, I want to touch a soul before a doctor has to touch a vein. I thought that was pretty hard. But bizarre performance from Hollow. I think I've kind of, if you look at some of his performances coming up to this, I know a lot of people have him winning both of his last battles. I personally had him going 1-1 in his last two. But I think you see every time that the ending the round short, that's kind of been happening for a while. This Psych Guy lied in the awkward endings. I think before, since you'd never seen it, some people just gave it as a pass. But clearly, it's been building up kind of this situation. I think the really multi-heavy style, there is some coolness to Hollow with the chaoticness, but there's a complete lack of organization in his entire style right now, and I think this is just a pure definition of that. It's one of the worst Hollow-Donons of all time. I don't want to go in on him too much, but you've probably already heard what it is. So I got DNA 3-0 clear. His first being his best round. I'd say it was about a 7 to 8 out of 10 DNA. I thought DNA was pretty good. I know it's a battle people aren't really going to care to rewatch, but 30 Hollow-Don's not easy. So, shout out to DNA, 3-0, milestone win, I believe, for his career. And with that being said, y'all, that's the recap for all 3 battles that went down on the Resolution 2 card. Like I said, it's a cool card. I don't think it was ass. I know a lot of people like to go whenever something's not great or good, even, good or popping out in URL, it's just ass. It's 3 battles. There's already a lot of battle rap to cover this weekend. Other recaps that I will be having out. I should have Queens Get the Money done either by later today or tomorrow. So y'all stay in tune with me for that, because to me, that was the real event coming to this weekend that I was looking forward to. But this was cool. Little appetizer of a card. Just to go over it again, I had Charon with a 2-1 edge over TTop. I had Easy 2-1, possible 3-0 clear over Verb. And then, fire alarm's going off. And then I got DNA 3-0 clear over Hollow-Don. So, like I said, man, cool little event. And, yeah, this has been J Small Reviews here, and I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.